Unfortunately, our worst fears have been realized. GTA 6 has been delayed once again. So let's dive into the official statement from Rockstar. Initially, the game was set to release in 2025, but it was then pushed back to the 26th of May 2026, and now the game has been delayed yet again. So Rockstar's latest message begins with, "Hi everyone, GTA 6 will now release on Thursday the 19th of November 2026. They say we are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support. While the wait is a little longer, we are incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Leonida and a return to modern day Vice City. Sincerely, Rockstar Games." This delay is coming straight after Rockstar had laid off up to 30 to 40 employees, and there was supposedly even a disgruntled ex-Rockstar employee on the GTA forums spilling the sauce on what is actually going on behind the scenes. You can see here an anonymous Rockstar employee has made a post on the GTA forums with the ongoing situation at Rockstar Games. So the employee's post states, "Hey everyone, Rockstar employee of many years here. Understandably, I want to remain anonymous due to retaliation from the company, but I may be willing to verify I'm an employee if somebody DMs them." So apparently this was a union employee, and there's been a lot of discussion about those 30 or so Rockstar employees who were fired from the company. So this ex-employee saying there's a lot of disinformation and lies that are really concerning, particularly concerning how so many folk are willing to believe the company's excuses for why these employees were fired. So this Rockstar employee states, "Last week my colleagues who were in the studio were each individually messaged by HR for a short friendly meeting under the friendly guise of, 'Hey, are you free for a quick chat?' Upon attending this meeting, they were handed an envelope with a short letter stating that their employment had been terminated for gross misconduct regarding posts made in a Discord server. They failed to provide any evidence when asked, nor was any stated in the letter, and they did not divulge any other information or reasoning, as they refused the employee's right to union representation in the disciplinary meeting, and this is against UK employment law. And then they were embarrassingly frog marched out of the studio, with the meeting lasting less than 5 minutes. For colleagues who were not in the studio that day, they received a phone call from HR that lasted less than 2 minutes, telling them that they were fired and that they'd received the same letter as above. I am aware of one employee who had a panic attack at this moment, and HR hung up on them during this panic attack, not caring at all about their well-being. These colleagues of mine were hard workers who have spent many years at Rockstar in critical roles, with colleagues who have been at Rockstar for more than 18 years, and none of them have ever had a disciplinary in that time." The ex-employee says that these individuals are not easily replaced, and it will certainly affect them in making their project deadlines. Some of those staff who were fired were senior artists, animators, QA testers, designers, programmers, and producers. This includes leads. They were all super talented people who were proud of their work over multiple Rockstar titles, and they all wanted what was best for Rockstar and their fellow colleagues. Some of these members were off sick, recovering from surgery, or on paternity leave, and they were fired without pay, losing their careers and putting them into hardship in the lead up to Christmas, and even potentially losing their visas to work in the UK. Let me make this clear, I never saw any discussion leaking of Rockstar projects in the Union Discord server, and the only discussions that were had within this server were about unionization efforts and the working conditions at Rockstar. The Discord wasn't public, it was a private Discord group that only contained Rockstar employees and the WGB union officials. Apparently this was union busting and nothing else. Everyone fired was a union member. Just 1 week before, the union had reached 200 members, taking us over the 10% threshold, requiring to seek recognition and to begin engaging in collective bargaining, thus allowing them to negotiate directly with management on the key issues that affect them, like worsening crunch, inadequate pay, and inflexible working arrangements. Rockstar has fired over 34 employees. There were over 250 of us in that union employee Discord group. There is the fear that if they get away with this, they'll have nothing stopping them from doing this again and again. The remaining Rockstar employees are working in fear. They're fearful that they are next in line to be fired. They're too scared to go outside inside of the studio or to speak to the colleagues who are outside of Rockstar North protesting at the moment. Morale in the studio is at rock bottom. This is when they should be excited about what's to come over the next year, but they are now totally deflated and their trust and confidence in others is totally shot. The ex-employee says that this is the truly heartbreaking part. As for us in the union, all of our ambition was to make Rockstar a happier, fairer, safer, and a more equitable place to work. That's all. But what has happened clearly shows that they care more about the well-being of their colleagues at Rockstar than the company even does. The union remains unbowed and it is fighting to win the reinstatement of every single employee that was dismissed at Rockstar through legal means and campaigning. The ex-employee concludes by saying that this fight is critical. If Rockstar can get away with this, then they will be treating their workers with disdain, disrespect, and subjecting them to continued illegal treatment. He thanks everybody for their time and he hopes that this is some truth that helps everybody understand what is going on at Rockstar behind the scenes. As you can see, these are the protests that are currently going on outside of Take-Two and Rockstar North offices, as the fired staff deny leaking any company secrets. So these protests were going on the 6th of November after up to 40 staff members were fired for allegedly distributing and discussing confidential information in a public forum.
Talk to your leads, talk to your co-workers, please spread the word. Over the last week, we've been gathering signatures for an open letter. We've gathered well over 200 of that. Today we're going to deliver it to management to let them know this is not a workplace that will stand up to this kind of behaviour. This is a workplace that stands up for itself. These are workers who stand up for each other. We have two very clear demands. Reinstatement with full compensation for lost pay for every worker fired, and a clear commitment to accountability from the company.
These are clips of the protests that were published to social media, with fired staff holding signs and reading prepared statements calling for their reinstatement and back pay compensation. The speaker here says, "We will not stop fighting until there is a union, not just at Rockstar but at every company in this industry." Apparently, the fired staff were all workers from the UK and Canada who were part of a private trade union chat group on Discord. They were all union members themselves or trying to organize a union within Rockstar. Apparently, Take-Two's official statement on the matter is that they had fired the staff because they were leaking company secrets in a public forum. They continue by saying, "Last week we took action against a small number of individuals who were found to be distributing and discussing confidential information in a public forum, which is a violation of our company policies. This was in no way related to people's right to join a union or engage in union activities." Apparently, the only non-Rockstar people inside of the private union Discord were union organizers. The boss of the union states Rockstar continues to deflect from the real reason for these dismissals. They are afraid of hard-working staff privately discussing exercising their rights for a fairer workplace and a collective voice. Management are showing that they don't care about delays to GTA 6 and that they're prioritizing union busting by targeting the very people who make the game. They add that in recent years, Rockstar executives have benefited from £443 million in tax relief while showing total disregard for the law or the livelihoods of their staff. At every turn, they've chosen profits over both workers and fans of their games. The only non-Rockstar employees in the union Discord channel were union organizers. And again, you can see more clips of the protests outside of the Rockstar studios here. You can even see this dismissed employee at Rockstar who is reading a statement here.
This company, and I was dismissed without warning, without evidence, and without a chance to speak for myself. All because I talked with colleagues in a private union chat. We weren't leaking anything or trying to harm the company. We were supporting each other, trying to understand our workplace and make it better. To lose my job for that feels deeply unfair. No one should be punished for being part of a union or for speaking honestly about their work.
This protesting employee says what has happened to them is deeply unfair, claiming that they were dismissed without warning, without evidence, and without a chance to speak for themselves. The fired staff member continued, "All because I talked with colleagues in a private union chat. We weren't leaking anything or trying to harm the company. We were supporting each other, trying to understand our workplace and make it better. To lose my job for that is deeply unfair. No one should be punished for being part of a union or for speaking honestly about their working conditions." Even Ross Greer, co-leader leader of the Scottish Greens political party, had took to social media to back the protesters. He says that they stand with dozens of workers sacked by Rockstar Games for exercising their right to organize a union. He demands Rockstar to reinstate these employees now and then get around the table and give your staff the pay and conditions that they deserve for making you billions. With all of this going on, it's beginning to make sense as to why Rockstar have once again pushed back the release date of GTA 6. They're saying it's additional time to allow them to finish the game with a level of polish that fans have come to expect and deserve. But people are seeing through all of this, especially with the ongoing protests and the disgruntled ex-Rockstar employees. Fans are commenting saying a year out from launch and they pull this shit, and they decide to announce a delay whilst this shit show is going on. What the hell was the game plan here? Yeah, everybody seems to know what Rockstar is doing. The delay announcement is clearly a strategical tactic to cover up Rockstar firing those employees. Bad news being a cover-up for worse news is just so insane. But yeah, it seems like a UK executive at Rockstar fired some people for organizing a union, perhaps justifying it to their own leadership as getting rid of leakers. And then yeah, coincidentally, Rockstar HQ in NYC decided that the game needed more time, maybe without even knowing the firing situation in the studio beneath them, which I find to be highly skeptical. Everybody agrees that it's ruthless to have these Rockstar employees fired just before Christmas, and then losing so many talented people within 1 year before the release of the game. It just sounds like a horrible idea. And all of this just to prevent the employees from unionizing and to demand proper pay and working conditions. Take-Two CEO had even commented on the delay. He says that when we set a date, we really do believe in it. We said when we set the last date, if a game requires more polish to be the best possible version of itself, then we will give that game more time. And that's exactly what happened. We feel really good about this release date. It's in the same fiscal year. It happens to be a great release window, and naturally we're really supportive of Rockstar's approach. What we want to do is give consumers as much certainty as possible, and again, we feel quite good about this date. It's not that far in advance if you look at when you need to deliver a game to get it out. Also, we have to start marketing activities in a significant amount of time ahead of release. What we want to do is give consumers as much certainty as possible, and again, we feel quite good about this date. There's also a ton of memes and people reacting to this delay news.
On Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish it's not coming out!
People are also saying that just because 30 or 40 employees were fired, it doesn't mean that that's the cause of the delays. So like this individual here says that they'd like to clarify a few things about GTA 6. Number one, the union layoffs in the UK and the delay are not related. There are 6,000 plus employees working at Rockstar. You aren't delaying a game over 35 people getting laid off. That's not how these things work. And not to mention that Rockstar devs were telling this individual about a delay well before the union layoffs. The second point is that Rockstar is extremely compartmentalized. A huge number of staff don't even know what's in a lot of the game because they are only exposed to the specific chunk of work that they are assigned. This is done because the game is so large in scope and also for security reasons. The third point, I've seen apparently some insider saying it's being delayed till 2027 and the game is in a messy state. But they highly doubt this as no one that they have spoken to has corroborated it, and the game is content complete. All that work from here on out is optimizing the hell out of it and making sure that all of the systems work to prevent a cyberpunk scenario. And the fourth point, leaks from a former Rockstar employee has said that morale is low, and no doubt that this is the case at the Edinburgh studio, but that doesn't translate to all of Rockstar. Bangalore, for example, operates completely differently and has a different culture to the Edinburgh studio. Then you've got staff leaving Glassdoor reviews speaking about their experience working at Rockstar. So you can see the pros and cons of the job. Working under the Rockstar brand was initially exciting, and being a part of global IPs like GTA and Red Dead Redemption 2 added prestige to the resume. Some team members were genuinely collaborative and supportive, especially at the peer level, got hands-on experience in game security, cheat detection, and back-end tools. But the cons are that there is politics and favoritism within Rockstar. It's not about performance, it's about who you're close to. Promotions, recognition, even basic visibility all depends on internal alliances. Zero transparency from leadership, you're left in the dark about decisions that directly affect your role, team team or future. There's toxic, outdated workplace culture. It's shocking that in a global tech company, juniors are expected to serve tea and snacks to managers like it's the 80s. No accountability for bad behavior. Those who speak up are ignored or sidelined. HR feels more like a formality than a resource. Career growth is a dead end, and if you're not a part of the inner circle, hard work alone isn't enough to get you noticed at Rockstar. This other review complains about an extremely uncompetitive salary, which the higher-ups justify with the availability of the benefits. Growth has more or less stagnated due to the saturation of the teams. Politics is evident, but apparently the toxicness isn't department-wide. Certain managers lack the humanity to acknowledge their shortcomings and play the blame game, which just destroys team morale in the long run. And this individual hopes that things do improve because this is ultimately a good place to work in, but it is being marred by a few incompetent people and a sorry excuse for a salary. And this review is really scathing. They said that the only pro that they can think of is free breakfast, lunch and snacks given by Rockstar, but there are quite a few cons that they've mentioned. There is no learning curve here at Rockstar. They just need people to finish GTA 6 on time. None of the tools used by Rockstar can be used once you leave the company. You cannot even tell which tools you worked on because of NDAs. Everything you learn there is garbage the moment that you leave the company. Their appraisal cycle and hikes are below average compared to other companies. Rockstar pays way below the average industry standards. The management is busy conducting parties and spending money on unnecessary team dinners and outings, and they've advised people to join if you only want to tell people you worked in Rockstar. Career-wise, joining Rockstar will hurt you in the long run. So while there are arguments defending Rockstar and saying that it's merely a coincidence that the delay has coincided with these union layoffs, and team morale isn't low across all of the different developmental studios, but all of these Glassdoor reviews prove that there is a morale issue across all of the Rockstar developmental studios. A toxic work culture where employees are not being properly compensated, where a company that is turning billions in profits is not investing back into its staff, where anyone seen to be asking for better working conditions is a liability, and it seems like Rockstar's a company where no matter how hard you work, your effort is not going to be recognized unless you play into the politics of upper management, where rather than your hard work being selected for promotion, instead favoritism is the reason why you're promoted. Fans are even fed up with Rockstar. All of us have waited way too long now for GTA 6. I mean, just look at how good we used to have it. Now we're getting one game in 13 years. But yeah, we have reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. What do you guys think about GTA 6 being delayed? What are your thoughts about Rockstar treating its employees terribly? And if there's anything that I've forgotten to mention, then let me know by continuing the discussion in the comments. Lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.